comment on the recovery. I think you have to make a distinction between the financial world and the real economic world. In the financial world, you have ups and downs. You all know that. A lot of people in Europe are talking about disaster in October. September, October, there'll be a double dip financial with the crash coming in. Caused by exactly the same dynamic that caused the first crash in the real estate bubble and excess borrowing at very low interest rates. Because if you look at it, we're doing exactly the same thing that brought us into trouble to begin with. Very low interest rates, people buying homes that they can't afford to, all these things. So some people talk about, in fact, a lot of people talk about the probability of a crash in October in the financial world. But the financial world, goes up and down. And if you look at the benchmark of the 1920s and 30s, in 1930, things had considerably improved from 1929. But this did not prevent the depression from happening. And this brings me to the second thing, what is happening in the economic world. In the economic world, if there's going to, as opposed to the financial world, in the economic world, there is likely to be a jobless recovery. Jobs are created through joblessness or unemployment can be created through three things. One is failure of demand. People don't demand things, so there's less production. Secondly, there is an increase in demand, but this leads to outsourcing rather than increasing jobs here, which is the reaction of most of the companies, not only here but in Europe. Renault and a lot of the companies are getting a lot of heat because they're using government money to outsource and go somewhere else. And the third thing is automation. I'm amazed at the progress of automation in Europe, which is more than here, because labor laws are so restrictive. So whenever there's an opportunity to automate, they automate. Automated cashiers in supermarkets automate this. You can't get the service station attendant to change your oil. Everything's automated. So all these things mean that there's likely to be a jobless recovery. And I think what has happened, what you showed us there, illustrates that. The companies are making money, the financial world is making money, and the reaction is to cut jobs. So this is where the economic crisis is going to become a social crisis, and this is where it's going to become extremely dangerous. So I think we're not out of the woods, and we have to be very vigilant, and especially we have to know where the heck we're going, because right now, as the man said, people are not spending enough. So what is it? What is patriotic to do? To save or to spend? Should you save because we've overspent, or should we spend because we don't want to save? It's unclear. No one is clear about that. We're driving around the ship of state with no roadmap and no destination. And this is where my own project is trying to define a destination, because without that destination, we're back to square one. I mean, I'm amazed at the confusion that exists at the theoretical level and the idea level, because everybody's explaining the past, but don't really have a clue about where we're going in the future, other than the cliches. The recovery is up, the Dow Jones is up, and as Udo's pointed out, all this is very relative. When you lose a lot of weight because you're sick, and then you gain weight in the first week, it's an amazing recovery, but it doesn't mean anything. So I say let's have a BS filter when we hear all these things. Let's use our BS filter and say what the heck is going on, and it's not what they're telling us is going on. It's something much more fundamental, which very few people understand. I'm not saying I'm one of them.